It's the one-on-ones, and fair to say that they are probably the more valuable or important element of an event like this versus, say, the set piece of the speeches and presentations.
The set-piece presentations are important, but this is an occasion when each of the defense ministers are able to lay out their defense and security policy for and in the Indo-Pacific. But, for example, today, for the first time ever, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, General Wei Fenghe, State Councilor and Defense Minister of the People's Republic of China, will have a face-to-face bilateral. And given that U.S.-Chinese tensions have been high, that face-to-face communication really is important. And I know both sides want to professionalize the military communication between each other, especially because there are now more incidents, both at sea and in the air, that are causing some troubles.
Indeed. So given the increased tensions between the two sides, I mean, this is a cheeky question, but we posted earlier this morning whether or not that meeting is going to result in fireworks or not. Or are you confident that these two men are consummate professionals?
I don't think there will be fireworks in either the private bilateral meetings or in the set-piece presentations. But there's no question that these two countries have very different visions for the Indo-Pacific. China speaks about a multipolar world, but has its preferences for a unipolar Asia-Pacific. The U.S. argues that it's a resident power in the Indo-Pacific and doesn't feel it's right for China to eject it from a place in which it is resident. And of course, the two sides also have economic strategies for the region, and those ones will, I think, also play a part even in the defense minister's speeches.
So having Secretary Austin here and his Chinese counterpart, the Chinese defense minister, I guess speaks to, partially answers the question whether or not the West is too distracted or even preoccupied with the war in Europe, in Ukraine. I mean, given the precedents here, I guess certainly not.
Well, we have a number of European defense ministers and senior officials here as well. The Dutch defense minister is here. The brand new French defense minister is here. But the point I would make is that the European and Indo-Pacific strategic theaters are not just interdependent, but codependent. Any challenge to the European security order has its domino effect even on the Indo-Pacific security order. Look at specifically the fact that the Black Sea is now effectively closed, and therefore food from Ukraine isn't getting out. The number one importer of grain from Ukraine is Egypt. The number two is Indonesia. Food security depends on a free and open Black Sea. People here will be talking about a free and open Indo-Pacific, but unless we can secure a free and open Black Sea in Europe, we might have in Europe a credibility problem arguing about that defense of that principle here in the Indo-Pacific. So victory in the Ukraine war is very related to the ability, not only in terms of time commitment, but in terms of credibility, for Western powers to play their right role in the Indo-Pacific peace and security.